Well, we definitely live in a different world today. America's city, New York City, is now Muslim, or at least led by a Muslim. I mean, socialist was bad enough, but Muslim, socialist, Sharia law, all of that. Anyway, welcome to the new America. I'm Professor Toto, and I did not do my show last night, and we're all having withdrawals, so I'm going to talk today. I'm going to help you comprehend the great mystery of New York City. But I think I'm going to do 2 lives this morning. Number 1, I think I'm going to come back and do another live in a minute and give you hope for New York City. How Mad Mandami is not going to enjoy the ride he thinks he is. I'm going to teach you all about Trump's plans to stop him, but I'm not going to talk about that in this live. I want to talk about something else. It's the Jew. Everybody's asking the question today, how could Jews elect a Muslim mayor? It's a great question. But what shocks me is is nobody's asking the other question. How could Christians elect a Muslim mayor? We want to talk about how the Jews could do it. So let me give you the facts today. Let's get through all the brouhaha and give you the facts, shall we? New York City is 60% Christian, 12% Jewish. About 30% of the Jewish population voted for Mad Mandami. 90% of the Christians voted for a Muslim. So it really blows my mind how we want to ask how the Jews could vote for a Muslim when they are just a small minority there, and it was a small minority of their population, 30%, that voted for Mad Mandami, and yet 90% of our Christian brothers and sisters voted for Mad Mandami, the Muslim. Let me explain it to you so you can understand. The Jewish people and the Christian people have the same 2 categories. You have secular Jews and secular Christians, all right? A Christian that could vote for Mad Mandami or a Christian that could vote for Barack Obama is not what we would call Bible-believing adherent of the Christian faith. Now, we know that Barack Obama is a Christian. Nancy Pelosi is a Christian. We understand Hillary Clinton is a Christian. But nobody wants to know why the Christians would vote for Mad Mandami. Here's the reason. There are Jews and Christians that do not practice their faith. They wear their faith as a badge. It's an identity marker, but it's not who they are. It's not what they live. It's not their worldview. It's not their daily lives. They are not observant Christians. You have many Jews that are secular. Do you know you have many Jews that are atheist, agnostic, but yet their bloodline, their family identity is Jewish. So we ought not be surprised that they could vote for a Muslim, because the secular Jew and the secular Christian are part of a different religion. Now, they wouldn't admit to that. They would say they're agnostic. There's no such thing as an agnostic. They would say they're atheist. There is no such thing. There is 2 religions in the world. There's the religion of self-worship or God worship. If you worship Yahweh, God, or if you worship yourself. Yourself, it makes you an agnostic or an atheist. You think you're real smart when you're real dumb. So the Jewish people, the 30% that voted for Madman Dami, are not practicing. They couldn't care less about their faith. Their faith does not identify them, just as a Christian's faith does not identify them. That's why many will say, Lord, Lord. And he said, depart from me, because being born in a Christian house does not make you a Christian any more than being born in a Jewish house makes you a Jew. The Apostle Paul tells us that a true Jew is one inwardly. Now, he's not denying that you're Jewish by birth, but he's telling you you don't have the mindset of a true Jew. I say the same thing about Christians. A Christian is not one that's born a Christian, but they're one inwardly. Because Christianity is not an identity. It's a calling. It's a lifestyle. The Jewish lifestyle is not an identity. It is a calling. And so that's why 30% of the Jews voted for Madman Dami. But let me go a little bit deeper than that, all right? People rarely vote who they are, but they vote for who defends their story. Secular Jews, just like secular Christians, see themselves as morally defenders of the oppressed. There's a new religion in the world, defenders of the oppressed. And Mandami is a Muslim socialist, meaning he's going to take care of the oppressed. Justice against oppression, that's their religion. So that resonates far more deeply with them than their Jewish faith or their Christian faith. Because there's a new faith in town. It's a fake faith, but it's a faith nonetheless. Values overlap with the religion of progressivism. That's the new religion. Christians have joined that religion, and so have Jews. So we need to quit asking the hypocritical question, why would Jews vote for Madman Dami? Why would a Christian? Because there's a new religion they've all joined. Progressivism, humanism. Now, contrast that with the Orthodox Jews, the Hasidic Jews, the Torah observant communities. They did not vote for Madman Dami, okay? They voted for Cuomo, 70% of them. Why? There's always a third that is not true to their faith. There's always the third of rebellion. My ministry has it. There's a third. You'll always be dealing with that third. That's why the Bible talks about destroying a third of the earth. There is that third part of a ministry or a population that is rebellious to leadership. The Jews are in rebellion, the secular Jews, to the leadership of their faith. The Christians, it never changes, my friend. So that's why they could vote for the religion of progressivism, because they are not true Jews. Now, I want to deal with that for a moment. Many people use that verse that Paul says about Jews not being true Jews, and because of carnal minds, we don't hear beyond the words. Part of my ministry is to help people find the intent. You know, I can write a text message to you, and I hate communicating by text because why? The words do not deliver my intent. And you'll read words and you're like, whoa, no, but I didn't mean it as a whoa. But text cannot deliver intent. To find intent, first of all, you have to know a person. If you know that I'm not a cruel person, then when I send you a text that sounds cruel, you're going to be like, okay, I must be misreading this. Let me call him. Or if I send you a text that sounds outside of my character, then you're going to know something's not right. Well, we know that Paul was not anti-Semitic, and we know he loved the Jewish people. Why would he write that a Jew is not one outwardly, but inwardly? The same reason I would say those exact words to Barack Obama. A Christian is not one outwardly, but one inwardly, up here. You think like a Christian. You wake up every day, like right here on my table. Here's my daily devotional. I'm getting in the Word this morning. Why? Because a true Christian is one up here, not just one out here. I was born in a Christian home. I was raised in the Christian world. Technically, that gives me the identity of a Christian, does it not? But I need more than an outward identity. My grandmother, my mother, but I need an inward identity as a Christian or a believer, an Israelite. So it is with the Jewish people. Paul was telling them what really makes you a Jew is the faith of Abraham. Now, he was not telling them they're not real Jews by blood, just like I wouldn't tell people tell me all the time, you cannot tell people they're not Christian. I definitely can. As a matter of fact, I'm commanded to by the Word of God. The Bible said, judge every tree by the fruit it bears. And I've seen Nancy's fruit, and I've seen Donald Trump's fruit. Oh yes, I'll be fair across the spectrum. You don't say, I don't forgive my enemies, and say you're a Christian. Those two do not jihad, as we say in Mississippi. So the reason the Jews can vote for a Muslim, they're not voting for a Muslim. They're voting for their religion, progressivism, false humility, taking care of the oppressed. But here's the problem about the oppressed. The oppressed will be with us until Yeshua returns. We're told that in the Bible, all right? However, to think we're ever going to get rid of an unfair world is a new religion. Hold on one second. You need to quit barking. Daddy's talking. There's a new religion in town. It says we're going to fix the world. That's the Antichrist religion. Antichrist wants to fix the world. Now, we're going to get rid of all poverty. No, you're not. You're a liar. You're Antichrist. The Bible said the poor will be with us till Yeshua returns. We're going to get rid of all starving children. No, you're not. Because if you did, there would be no need for the return of Christ. And that's what Satan wants to put in our heart. We're going to fix the world. No, we're not. Not now. That requires the return of the Son of God. So the Jewish people, that 30%, they voted for their new religion. They're not Jews in here. They voted for progressivism. So anyway, that's why a Jew would vote for a Muslim. And that's why a Christian would vote for a Muslim. Because a Christian is not one outwardly, but one inwardly. All right? I'll be back. I'm coming right back. I got to get my dog to the groomer real quick. And then I'm going to come back on my next live, and I'm going to tell you how Donald Trump is going to save New York City.